And we're live. Live on them.
What's up, Natty? Hello, ladies and gentlemen. We're here with another episode of Basic Conversations. It's been, 3 weeks, I think?
Sheesh, yeah, damn near.
Yes, sir.
We pretty much had a one-piece break.
Yeah, we had a whole one-piece break.
For real.
But I'm glad to be back here with Natty. He's been here doing his thing, but I'm glad to be back here.
Shout out to the Basic. We love you.
Yes, sir.
Like insert. We're not close to the soundboard right now, but like I just proverbially insert
the soundboard.
Just imagine audience.
Yeah, just imagine the little background noises where you have the postage sign that says clap or laugh.
But we here.
How you doing, Natty?
Man.
As we usually start off, overall, how are you doing? And then how's your last week?
Sheesh. That's a great question. I'm actually doing pretty solid, I'd say, mentally anyway, since, we always do these podcasts and we're just kind of like knocking them out whenever we can. Mm-hmm. But like life goes on. Yes, so, sir. You always have to like have the ability to just kind of be present in the moment. But all that being said, I've been pretty good. Last week, let's see here, this previous weekend was relatively chill. It was actually very relaxing. On some chill vibes. Got a lot of creative work done. Yeah. That's probably my favorite thing on the weekends, where it's like if there's not I lie. It's not that I was like a chill weekend, but it was a weekend where there weren't things I just had to like places I had to be. There were still things I had to get done. But to me, chill is I just have to get shit done. I don't have to be anywhere.
Yes, sir.
So I could be home or like chilling. So, but yeah, it was good. Biggest thing is writing, more writing.
Okay.
Been writing more recently, which has been lit. That's been a lot lit.
Is it writing for the story you're showing me, or what are you writing
in general?
For?
In general, man. I've been initially it started as I'm working on like a story, right? And so I wanted to really tell a good story, because I feel like anybody who ever wants to tell a story, like, I don't know, I just don't feel like you go into things and just be like, oh, I just want to be like trash at it.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I was like, I'm an overly ambitious person by nature. So whenever I'm like, oh no, I finally got to that point where I'm like, no, I'm ready to really like embrace this side of myself.
Yeah.
Kind of delve into it, writing, and I'm like, oh, if I want to do this at this scale, I have to do this, and this. So long story short, I just kind of went to work and started just learning the art of it and how I wanted to write, and just started giving myself work. So it's kind of like,
now would you say you're a perfectionist?
By nature.
Yeah.
By nature. But I've learned to optimize it to where I'm not doing it as self-destructively. Because I feel like people with my tendencies, myself included, because I've done it before, I'll overthink things to a point, and then it gets to the point where it's analysis paralysis, and then it inebriates me from making any decisive decision or action. Uh-huh. And then that can lead to... I guess that can lead to intense depression, because I've never had it to where it's like clinical, but I've definitely had some pretty stressful moments in life, and it's like it can lead you there. But if you're able to take action immediately once you formulate like what you have to do, now you're just constantly being productive. Yeah. And at that point, you just have to learn how to rest, which I've had the luxury of growing up in a faith that predominantly focused on that premier concept at its core, like belief system. So it's like I've always had a very extremely healthy relationship with rest in the sense of my upbringing. But even though I didn't do the best with it, I've had the best training around it and understanding it. So it's like, because I'm such an obsessive, like kind of, okay, I got to strategize this, and this. Yeah. I've learned that if I factor in fun and rest, everything makes itself work out.
Yeah.
And it's pretty cool. But that's like, that's so much easier said than done.
Yeah, no, I feel that.
I feel like that's so much easier said. It sounds like cool when you say it out loud, but
yeah,
it's like,
I feel like we're.
You know what I mean?
Because I understand that where it's just like there's that grind setting, because I understand people want to grind and
which is
get
honorable.
to where they want to go.
It's respectable.
And and if you can do it, do it. But like even myself, of course, I have my boundaries already of where I do things, and like even then I think it was the last Thursday it rained.
Yeah, pretty bad.
Dude, that week, for some reason, like, well, actually, just especially that day, I was just out of it. And then as soon as I got home, I like knocked the fuck out. And it was probably like much needed rest. Well, I mean, okay, honestly, it was because I was sleeping late and waking up early. We were doing.
So it was just catching.
We
up
were
on
doing
you.
overtime. Yeah.
Yeah, like whenever you have that like back-to-back work week, I get you.
Yeah, we were doing overtime, and it's like it was just good to take a rest day, pretty much for the most part. But overall, yeah, like it's hard to find that balance just because I understand people like I want to rush to get to this point already. So I have to do this amount of hours. I have to stay up this amount of time but sometimes do take it far where it's like they're missing meals or they're over. I don't know. I feel like sleep is important overall. So like people should get their rest overall. You do have to find that balance. And I mean, if you are going to do those sacrifices, again, it's just overall, you do have to find that. Unless you're just dived into that space, you have to find that mental balance where like, okay, you do have a little bit of fun or you like spending with family or friends and
which I think is a big one, like just the people you love, like relationships. Like, super quick aside, like because I'm curious on your thoughts on this as far as like relationships as a whole, but in the past 2-3 months, I'd say like I've started seeing a lot of content around it, just like family and health. And some of the pieces of content that I've seen in like that viral diaspora of stuff kind of like just coming up recently was this idea that you can increase your life's length proportionately to the amount of, I believe, healthy relationships you have. Because it wasn't just relationships. I want to say it was healthy, but even if it wasn't healthy and it was just relationships, regardless, I think that's irrelevant. The premise of like the research was, or at least the conversation on the research was, it's not so much like the wealth you amass or the things you accomplish or the things you do, but it's the people you meet in the relationships that like you maintain. And those actually give you more life as you get older, because naturally as you get older, you're not around a certain amount of people. It's really your life partner is the person you're usually around the most statistically. So it's like who you establish really strong friendship with is it's almost a matter of life and death. Oh, you can almost argue it is. So funny, just a cool little thing. Just based off of what you said, I was like, I wanted to interject because I was like, you said that, and I was like, yo, that's like something I've been seeing too. So it's a very interesting conversation around that.
Well, then how do you feel about that? Like, are you right now? Do you feel like you have those just sincere connections with that you want to maintain?
I definitely have a feeling I've been losing a lot more connections, and not in the sense that I've been intentionally losing them, but like because of my distance, I haven't been nurturing them. It's kind of like relationships to me are like, gardening in a manner of speaking. It's like the ones you don't attend to, if that's not the type of plant that can handle that level of non-attending to, it will die. And every plant by species is different. So it's like, you have to know who you know. And if you have to learn how to know who you know, which I think a lot of people learn by failure if their family doesn't teach them. I feel like your family is where you learn all those subliminal, metaverbal, all those things, like, because like it's the culture that your family's in, but it's also the family you're actually in that culture. It's like kind of both. So it's I would say my thoughts on it is just it's interesting because the way I see it, it's kind of like the most human thing about us, where it's like we need each other, but we always fight each other because we need each other. I don't know. It's very interesting because like I feel like sometimes it's like, let's say look at Gaza and kind of what's happening with that, right? Depending on where you're at in the conversation, you can have a different opinion of a human being, which is a wild thought to think, but it really depends on what side of the conversation you are. You might look at one human being that both people are looking at the same person. You can describe them entirely differently based off of where you are. You know what I mean? Yeah. And it's ironic because if you're a person, you would think you'd work in your best interest because you're the same and both interests is aligned. But we don't. There's a biblical quote that I still live by, which is like, it's not a battle of like flesh and blood, but of principles, law and principles. And I think that that's always the case. At the end of the day, even if you're human or like this, we're the same and we should love each other. when it comes to the conversation and trying to share our realities, it does come to a point of principles.
Yeah.
And sometimes certain people don't have the same principles, and I feel that's where we get a lot of the issues. But then we get to the next point where it's like, well, how do you handle that?
Yeah. And okay, with that, how do you feel like most people should handle situations? Like, because I feel like for me, myself, there is, again, back to boundaries and things you accept, views, but I feel like there is lines you shouldn't cross with people, and handling that, I feel you just disconnect with them overall.
I think it's fair.
Rather than, I mean, like, because I feel like people should just be honest overall, and then, whatever the outcome is, like, I feel like you just should be able to cross it off. And if it does get to a point where you have to, like, I guess, defend yourself, then do so. But, like, I don't, of course, the basic sense of things, I wouldn't want people to overall fight, but, like, yeah, you said Gaza and stuff. It
depends on who you, like, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
like where you are changes your narrative, your understanding, and your perspective on the conversation. Now, because of globalization and, like, just so many cultures being able to see each other, which has been historically never been possible. Like, if you really think about it, it's like, imagine if, like, what's this? Alexander the Great could, like, see what the Native Americans were doing. Bro. like just let the thought sit for it. It's almost comedic how, like, odd. But if you really play it out in terms of history and, like, what happened because of just what was capable, we live in a world that's globalized.
Yeah.
And so things can't be as easily hidden. And especially with the way data and information is going, the truth will always come to the light. And maybe not like the true truth in the sense of, like, a real truth, but in the sense of, if it is done, maybe it could be figured out, especially with the way the world's going with information and just data. But I still think there are things that can be private, but I feel like it's a whole other conversation I'm not equipped into bringing in. But
there's a way to keep things private still, but
I just think it's changed. But technology has fundamentally changed how we communicate and socialize. So because of that, it, like, affects, I feel, the
exactly.
other stuff.
And I mean, that overall just comes, like, to being careful with, how you interact with people and who you interact with. Like, overall, that's where I get to, like, I get people, I'm a very trusting person, and so fair. I hate it. Like, I get it, there's so many people now that are just scared to trust, and I mean, I am too, to a certain degree, where, like, we don't get that far. But when I first interact with you, it's like, all right, we can see where things go.
I feel like you give people, like, it's not that you're over trusting in, like, a naive sense, but I feel like you're the one willing to extend the branch. Yeah. You're always going to be the one that wants to, hey, I will take the step to understand you first before I just, like,
And so, like, the whole data thing is just, again, if you're gonna involve yourself into, like, social media and all these other things, you really need to watch, I guess, what you're doing and whatnot, because again, the truth will come to light. And
I feel like if you live by that principle, none of this stuff is a big issue because you live your life that way. But I know most people don't live by principles because we live here. We grew up in our own certain ways, right? If you move, like, 5 to 10 meters from, like, where you grew up, or, like, a whole city over, you could have had a drastically different life. You know what I mean? So it's like, now move over to the other side of the continent. See what I'm saying? Like, so it's very difficult, but it's also simple in the sense of what can be done because of what we've had, like, because of technology and all this stuff expanding. Laws have expanded, like, these philosophies of philanthropy and all this stuff to where everyone can benefit, which I ascribe to, but in application it can be very tricky. So I don't know, man. Life is difficult. Life is tough. But I feel like if people care, like, or at least try to understand someone else, like, and be in their shoes, it could make everybody think win-win. Yeah. Because I don't think a lot of people think win-win. I think they feel the need to have win-loss.
Exactly. And that's where I struggle. Okay, so overall, I mean, to get down to the core aspect, I mean, in my core view of it is
basic facts.
Like because I would know we talk about, like, relationships and how we move forward, but that's for me, I guess, what I'm realizing and stuff. I mean, spending time with family and then my friends who I choose to spend time with, even though they may not view me in that same aspect, but as long as we get to a sort of connection we can build, I'm willing to take it further. If it doesn't go that further, that's fine. But again, it's like you do have to choose them carefully, because that circle you keep around is they got to be people that'll hold you accountable.
True.
Make sure you're responsible for what you're doing.
I would agree.
They're just completely honest with you, but they're not, I guess, dickheads about it, in a sense where
I feel like it depends, because
like you have to be willing to get hurt, of course. Like
I think you have to be willing to, you have to be willing to get hurt,
Yeah.
but you have to understand that it's not out of jealous or malice.
Yes.
It's out of like purely out of love, which I feel is easier sometimes for family, but even then you can't say that anymore because people don't have families.
Oh, believe me, with my family, I don't think there's only certain things I could get completely honest with them. Like there's
no, because there's like a certain point you're so stuck in your ways you can't even fathom another perspective. So like so that's why it's like it's tricky, and I feel I don't know how we deal with it, to be honest, but I do feel it's something that's like,
I mean, so
growth can happen there. I feel if it's intentional.
Yeah, exactly. Like for me overall, like when it even comes to family, the reason I spend time with family is just because I grew up with them, and I know like some people that I guess made it their way. They cut off family, or like they had to leave family for a bit.
Yeah, for whatever reaon too. Sometimes it's a good sacrifice. Yeah. Sometimes it's bad.
Yeah,
whatever.
Of course, there's always two different sides to it. But like my family, I spend time with them just because I used to have like almost not the strongest relationship. Like it didn't matter. Like I kept in touch, but I didn't really see him for a good period of time after I moved out, and even then it wasn't the best. Always in the household, but either way, you just come to realize like, oh, I just gotta let go of a bunch of shit. And like my mom, for example, growing up, she was just growing up doing her thing. No one comes with instructions to anything in life. It's all it is. You have
to kind of go with it.
Yeah, and obviously, I respect the older generations, despite like we may have different views and whatnot. But I don't know. I look at my family; a lot of them are hard workers. So I really respect and again, despite things like I've seen them gone through and whatnot, but again, I respect them for what they've done, and of course my family, they crossed the border as well, so and they've done their thing to make it, to get to where they are, and how they raised not myself, my other cousins and my siblings. So it's just like I spend time with them just because overall they're family. I mean, sometimes some of them do want to get closer. Sometimes like we'll keep that bond relationship, but like we don't get too deep just because like again we do have different views, and it's just like
it just gets tricky.
Yeah, like hey,
okay, let's get to it. So like let's say you get with a family member and it's like you get to I don't know, political difference. Like what does that look like? Because like I know for me and my family, I've done a very good job of really avoiding like unnecessary conversations like that. But at the same time, whenever they come up, I have such just like if you have that opinion, cool. But if it's foolish, I'm going to tell you. And I'm going to just walk away because I'm not going to entertain it. If I think you're being like disrespectful or inconsiderate or not thinking a situation thoroughly enough to understand if maybe you have bias in it. Yeah. Like, you know what I mean? Like, there's like that level of ignorance. I'm just like, dog, you're foolish. I'm out. Yeah, and I've dealt with situations like that in the past, not necessarily with like close family, but like friends of like people that we know, and they're considered culturally family, but it's not. So it's just like you have to deal with certain bullshit. But
yeah, of course, and
that's where it depends.
Believe me, and that's why I say it's not like I'm trying to paint a pretty picture, like and that's why I say I can't get too deep with my family, because if we get to those topics, like
no, it gets crazy. I guess
you already. I mean, you practically know it already gets crazy. But I mean, again, I
feel like it's just dealing with like how would you like if someone in your family does have the difference, like in your head when it comes to like someone so close, what is like in your head when your response is it usually just like a flare of emotions, or is it just like,
man, dude, if I get pissed, I get pissed, but I think I'd be able to control myself just because. I mean, I think I've been like pissed before. I've lost my shit before, but it's just overall now it's just either walk away or like if you really can't keep your tongue, just like with me it's overall depending on the subject, because I mean there could be like a severity to it depending on what it is, because people could deflect what the actual subject is, but
true. I've done it before, so I get it.
Yeah,
I get it.
But if people were to deflect the actual subject at hand, because that's the thing too, people, you want to push what you think is the honest truth, and they'll deflect what it is because they don't think it is and they're hiding from it. But you kind of just gotta leave it alone and either choose yourself to not surround yourself with them anymore, or get into like too much conversation, or keep it cordial.
Like distancing,
keep it cordial, even like I don't know, if you can keep it cordial, like
that's the win.
That's a win, honestly. Like, all right, like, hey, if we really like got to this point where we disagree, then all right.
Like, is it at the point where it's necessary for either of us to be right?
Yeah.
Like so bad. Which I feel some niggas be crazy with that.
Yeah, because I think that's the only thing I'd be scared if with family, if we got, which what I don't see really happening is an intense like disagreement.
Yeah.
But
yeah, I feel that. Sports though, I mean those just get intense.
Sports, oh god,
like, bro, especially sports, man.
Fuck you.
He's like, sports are politics, but I luckily I have never really had to deal with crazy politics stuff. I tend to stay pretty cursory of all the crazy shit. Yeah. Like whenever you know bullshit's about to happen, so you just properly distance yourself from the bullshit, where it's like, okay, I know because of this situation it can go crazy, so I'm gonna be right here. Because if I see some shit, I'm out.
Would you say your family still like that currently?
My family's chill. But it's whenever like the external shits, like anybody who's like a family friend, that it's a bigger function or a church function. God forbid a church function.
For real?
Bro, because here's a problem. It's like at the end of the day, it's not even the church aspect of it, but it's like the communal aspect of multiple people with opinions that believe they're right.
Oh, okay.
It's just like when you get enough of those type A's people in association with each other, it doesn't matter where you are. That's just not a fun place to be.
I can only imagine that, because I mean I've met people who are just like stubborn, or like it's my like.
No, it just had like their perspective has to be enforced in whatever the thing is.
Yes, and I can't imagine that, and then like I guess a family setting, because only mine, like for my in general of mine, a lot of I would say alcoholics, they drank a lot, like did the whole Mexican stay overnight party kind of thing. A lot of it was fun. Yeah, lit as fuck.
That I feel like that's why, like, if you want to throw a party, just be around Hispanic people.
Awesome, growing up.
Yeah, no, for real.
But there is a lot of like family fights and shit like that's happened. That I mean, I witnessed some of them, but then others that I just heard about later. I'm like, damn, what the fuck?
They're just wild. Y'all be turning up. Y'all family functions be turning up.
But now it's all chill.
Nice.
The only thing, and which I like, but at the same time,
it's only chill because everyone's older though, eh?
Yeah,
exactly. That's what I'm saying, because ain't nobody in their 30s like
they just all they do now is it's still the same music sometimes, but yeah, they still drink a little bit, but it's not wild. It's like, hey, we're all just chilling and talking, enjoying the fucking food.
Dude, see, the food that's what makes it magical. Shout out to the boy Bogey in the back. Bogey in the back.
Bogey. You got a bogey incoming.
Bogey incoming. Okay. But no, that's, I mean, okay, back to the point before I forget myself. I think that's real though. As far as family, just like, I just stay cursory. So that way it's like, if I have to deal with the bullshit, I'm like, out.
Yeah,
because there's bullshit sometimes. I say family because it's really family. Because community to me is family. It's just family that's extended. Blood family, I feel like that's a different tier, because then it's like, okay, that's like, you talking about personal shit.
Yeah.
But in general, how you treat those people who are just as damn near as close as that, it's like, bro, there's some wild stuff you can deal with that I'm just like, I've just learned to position myself in functions to where if I need to exit, it's like an easy exit, and now I'm out.
He said, I got my escape plan.
Yeah, you always have to plan your exits with those type of functions.
Hell no, dude. Well, change the subject, really. Actually, how would you say... Do you think you make feel people? Do you think you
make feel people? Make feel people. Clip that. Make feel people.
Do you think you have people feel like they're not judged when they have conversations with you? And do you feel like you ever get to unload what you feel like you'd be judged for onto anybody else?
Sometimes. I'm not even going to lie to you sometimes because it depends on if. I always try to be honest, but I can't always be transparent. Mm-hmm. And when I can't be transparent, I try to be tactful. That's the best way I can put it. Because there was a season in my life where I was very dishonest. And it was like, it wasn't dishonest in a bad way in the sense like, haha, I'm fucking everybody over. But I was fucking everybody over because I wasn't giving them my opinion on shit.
Yeah.
So it was like, I'm reacting, I'm doing things, but none of this is authentically at the core of what I'd want to be doing. But it's okay because I don't care. And I should care. So, or the idea is to care, right?
Yeah.
So, yeah, no, that was the whole season. So, like, I learned, okay, I'm going to be honest. But then when you're honest all the time, it's like some people don't want to be told the truth. Like, it's weird.
Yeah.
There is from my experience, I'm speaking from my experience. Some people just do not like the concept of being told something that is like certain or like, because I find it hard to be 100% certain. I think it's impossible.
Yeah.
But like the concept of something being so.
And people always want certainty. It's like weird.
It's weird. It's
so weird,
I think
man.
it's a human, like a core human want. I think that's like something like carnal, just to know what's in the darkness. Like, is that the darkness? Like, what, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But, yeah, just some people just don't like the truth of things, the matter of fact of things. And so that makes things hard. So it's like, you can't be honest because then sometimes your honesty, like, well, you can't always be honest, but you have to be willing to accept the consequences of always being honest. And those consequences are sometimes avoidable if you are willing to either be transparent or tactful with your honesty. And that's tricky as fuck. But that's why I say sometimes. I try to create a space that's safe for everybody. But there are times where I feel like maybe I have to be intimidating to establish a sense of safety if somebody is holding an antagonistic view.
Yeah.
That can be problematic at scale. Because I tend to have a utilitarian view of things where it's like, I try to get the ultimate good in the situation. But it's very hard to be utilitarian because utilitarianism doesn't apply equally over every situation.
Unfortunately.
So it's like, okay, fuck. Well, I have to actually like be aware of the situation I'm in. Yeah. That's kind of tough. But yeah, no, I try to be tactful and transparent when I can't be fully honest. But I've had a tricky situation with being like dishonest with myself and other people. So
yeah, and
it's a growth process where it's like, fudge, I have to get better.
And it comes back to being like, being honest overall, and if you dive into like social media worlds and whatnot, it's especially with the data, more data centers are being built. I mean, AI is gonna keep progressing itself. There's so many companies investing into
for sure,
into just automating a lot of things overall.
And I think just like it's scary, but to cut you off, creatives, it's not as bad as it looks. But it can get bad if we don't take advantage. Yeah. That's my 2 cents on it. But yeah, no, I get that stuff's scary. Yeah,
and I'm with you. I'm completely with you. It's just, with the data, like if you're gonna, again, creatives overall, anybody, politicians, directors, CEOs, you gotta be careful with what you're doing now. Like you don't have to be perfect, but be honest, be honorable.
Ethical. Ethical for sure. And
because it's a lot of shit's coming out, man. Like you gotta be careful.
2024 is the year of truth. Cat called it. I'm telling you, Cat Williams said, you know what? He did the thing in January where you look at your goals list for the year, and he was like, actually, he really did it probably in 2022 or 2023. But besides the point. He was just like, you know what, man? 2024, this is the year I'm going to start some bullshit. Yeah. I'm going to just do it. I'm hitting my brother Shay Shay, and then we're going to have fun. And that's my personal theory of the year. 2024 started with Cat Williams.
Man, they were both sipping, bro.
Everything came different. All the tea.
Telling you, when you sipping
here's the thing, though. Orlando Brown technically called it as far as Diddy's concerned, but it's hard to listen. It's just the source... The source made it difficult to really take the information at a certain level, but yeah, Nicki Minaj was talking about it. Like, yeah, it's crazy. It's just.
Did you hear about Dan Schneider,
bro? The what's it called? The Quiet on Set documentary.
Yeah, I haven't watched it.
Okay, so I have literally not watched this documentary, but I have purely been learning it from Snapchat stories, the homies, and from the Joe Budden podcast because they were talking about it.
Okay.
And like random shorts I see. Like everyone else is like having their own conversation about it.
Yeah.
But I've literally not seen it. It's wild.
I haven't watched it either. I just know. I mean, overall, like it just comes back to it. Like, and I mean, it sucks to like hear people like they don't talk about it till now.
Yeah.
I mean, again, people.
But that's the thing with money, man. It's like if you have money and influence and you've impacted people's lives in a meaningful way. Mm-hmm. It's very difficult to have those kind of conversations because, like, fuck,
I know, and then if you kind of go against it, it ruins like your what is it?
I don't even know.
Your chance to making business or whatnot.
Yeah, it goes down like it's just terribly. Like, it's just.
I mean, there is ways to be, honest, to do honest work. Obviously, you just got to be almost completely independent and learn, the laws of things.
It takes a lot of. Yeah, I'm about to say you have to study truly what you're doing at the core of what it is. Like you have to, like for instance, if you don't want to be taken advantage of in the music industry, because I can at least speak to that, you got to learn the industry. You got to learn where the money goes. You got to learn whose jobs are important and why they're important and what their function is, and like where you fit in that and where you're at in your part of the career. Like if you have to have enough information and self-awareness and, just resilience to be able to push through shit. You know what I mean?
I saw something recently where a lot of pop stars, I can only remember off the top of my head, was Billie Eilish and Katy Perry. Yeah. They all signed like a paper, I guess to the studio labels or some form of group where they want I guess more strict laws on like AI composition.
Yeah. I wouldn't be surprised if there were more because one, in the music industry, there's no union, so there's no unionized body that's speaking upon the behalf of all the creatives and people within the music industry or agreed upon. So that's a whole thing we need to, figure out and work towards, but it's tricky for whatever reason. But the closest thing we have to that's probably like the Grammy board, but anyway, them and like SAG-AFTRA and whatnot. But which is SAG-AFTRA, they also do like performers' rights and shit. But yeah, to your initial point, which was, remind me again, it was regarding the industry as a whole and like with the deals, right?
Yeah.
So with AI, I think Guru, in the hip hop scene, he was talking about it and just how it's like, it's a very serious conversation we need to address because these technologies are only going to grow faster. And essentially it's like, their capability and power is so potent that any and all information on you, if had, they could recreate, which is why if you don't know, I'm pretty sure you've seen, like, this is one for you too. I think I mentioned this to you, Basic, but if not, try and have safe words with your family that no one else would know or like your loved and close ones because we make content, we're vulnerable, right? And with this technology coming around, people can literally clone our voices, and then I can call you, or someone can call you and be like, "Oh, I took Natty's voice on the podcast, and I'm calling Basic."
Oh, we're gonna have the CIA on us,
dog. Here's the thing: the CIA was now the average person.
Skinwalkers,
bro. Bro, some different shit. And it's like it's so surreal that it's in our doorstep.
Yeah.
But luckily, it's not this type of technology is not available to everybody, but it's available to enough people that the people with malintent can really leverage it for bad.
Of course.
So I think that's kind of the big thing, and they're already seeing it in the industry. Which this is a conversation: music artists, creatives, musicians, all the above, engineers, all that in the industry as a whole, like A&Rs have been fighting for, just like trying to make sure like rights and the artist and the creative at the core is taken care of. But that's I don't think ever going to be the case unless somebody with a very win-win mentality is at the top of that food chain. But I highly doubt that because like the majority ownership of the music industry is like dudes that could give a fuck about music. So that's a whole other conversation. But anyway, to like the initial point, I think the AI conversation as a whole, that's going to be ongoing for a while.
Oh yeah.
Because it's the same conversation but in a different context for the rights of the creative. And that's always kind of just been a battle. For whatever reason.
I mean,
Well, a lot of reasons actually.
I can't remember. I think it was I forgot. Again, I can't believe I forgot what company I want. I don't think it's Nvidia, but they're looking into bringing in like AI nurses.
Shit. What is this?
I read it like I think within this last week.
Okay.
Pretty much they want to bring in like nurses that can come in like not necessarily to your home, but over like a tablet or whatnot, and it's just it's an AI talking to you, asking about like your symptoms, this and that, and they said it would cost like $9 an hour. So their overall objective is like they want to attempt to replace nurses as is, I guess, to save a trip home, to save, I guess, people like the trips to the hospitals, I guess, if it's not too extreme or something. Because I didn't read it totally into it.
I get it, because it's like dealing with basic diagnostic tasks. Maybe that is like busy work. But to me, it's like if you take away some of the busy work, you take away some of the work. And I don't know. It can get tricky. That can be a slippery slope. As what it sounds like, I don't think it's anything crazy. I think it's actually a luxury item. Yeah. Which sounds cool. But yeah, I don't know.
I mean, it's a luxury item, but I mean, overall, how do you feel? I guess two questions for me is like, overall, how do you feel with more technology coming to? It's almost like we don't have to leave the house as much as things. You could have things delivered to your house. I mean, of course, if you can afford it, but I feel like as time progresses, it's going to be more like that, where a lot of things just could be at the hand of your know, right at the tip of your hands. And that's where, again, it's a fear of data as well. Like there's just so much accessibility between you and the outside world. Mm-hmm. So it's scary to see where, how much technology is going to really be inputted in our lives, and how much separate as like human connection being replaced as workers.
Our interactions, like I feel like we're already interfaced with technology, so it's already kind of been embedded in our way of life to where if we lose access to it for a prolonged period of time, I think it would impact civilization heavily. Not to a drastic degree that human civilization would go away.
Yeah, no.
But the kind of Mad Max type shit, like if it's not an environmental issue, like a certain ideological group will definitely leverage its ability to have power and go to town type shit. So I don't know. I feel like all that's possible just because of the access, like you said, of technology and information, and it's getting more real that what you imagine to be possible can happen. And I'm very curious, like, if the conspiracy theories around the greater powers that be within the world would act on shit like that. I'm always curious, like, because like you see genocide at large, and like there's a UN, there's an overarching body of like, because of globalization, to where we have to deal with each other like as a globe. There are ways things can be handled. So it's like I'm curious, like how. Is it World War III-esque, or is the idea of even a World War III similar to the previous World Wars? Even is that concept not going to be applicable because that next war is like, no, we're just in the Matrix. Like
we're just,
what I mean?
Replaying it over and over.
Yeah, you know what I mean. Like I'm very curious where that goes. Honestly, that's one of those things where I'm just like I stay not blissfully ignorant, but unknowingly ignorant, but open to new information, because I'm not going to just go find it, because I know if I go try and find it, I feel like I'll be even more mad.
Man, yeah. Right now, that's why I'm curious right now a lot of it is like, I feel like the next presidency is where a lot of it's going to come into play. I feel like a lot of it's being dragged out until the presidency happens, and I'm curious to see how things really play out. Because right now Trump's been going through a lot of shit, but he's been finding ways to like bail out. And I think honestly,
it's such a way to where he's still looking like a contender, which is that's a thing.
I mean, me and Alice talk a lot about I guess like politics or other stuff, but I was telling you, honestly, they're gonna keep Trump in the race. They're not gonna, because if he falls off, like Biden,
I have a feeling he just has such a good understanding of the social climate that
Biden wins no hands if they get rid of him. And if people don't see it already, the government's not gonna allow that. Like one of them have to win, and it can't be a landslide by Joe Biden, because I mean, even I don't even like Joe Biden right now, to be honest.
Yeah, I don't think anyone does.
I mean, there's some good he's done with the like student loan debt and some other. I don't know. There's some other shit I really can't think of. That's the biggest one I could think of is student loan debt. But even then, like with Trump, he doesn't fuck with Ukraine like that. He thinks they should defend themselves, and I actually don't know his look on the whole Hamas situation.
Yeah, I'm curious.
I don't know how he feels about that. I just know his stance on Ukraine, and yeah, so it's curious to see where things go in the next presidency in my opinion, and yeah, I mean we're progressing more with technology and how a lot of things are influenced by different people. It's interesting times, really, and inflation and all that shit. You know, people are struggling as well, so it's a lot of people are being swayed in different ways.
Yeah, I feel that. I really am. My dad's teachings on politics whenever I was a kid that I just kind of stick to is just initially he would always be like, yo, sometimes you got to pick the lesser of two evils. And as I've gotten older, it's like, okay, if it's two evils, then I should probably focus on finding a way to make there a good in all that. So it's been very difficult. Like, I mean, even with these situations, like, okay, you just got to go based off policy because you're not going off of good people. Fuck good. It's like, what's the policy here? And I don't know, man. I have an odd feeling that Trump might win simply off the fact that whenever he was in power, a lot of perceived success seemed to happen from him purely just being into president. And because that's more than enough for a certain subsect of America, which is a solid half, if not a silent vocal minority. They're just going to come out and be like, yo, dude, we want this guy. And it's going to happen. So I don't know. Either way, it's going to be very difficult for America for the next decade.
For real, it's good. We're gonna live in weird times, bro.
Yeah, like America's just gonna, it's just wild. Like I'm seeing more content around the world where like people are starting to see like how nice it is in Germany and like other places where it's like, oh, how come we don't have that in America? And it's like we do, but it's like weird because we don't have it everywhere.
Hey man, I think I don't know. I forgot what America's.
We have a lot to deal with, so I can't like
200 of. I'm sorry if I'm way off. 200 to 400 years old or some shit. America.
Yeah, let's see. 776. So
200 and something.
So 200 for sure. Because 7 plus 2 is 9, and then add like 30, and then
doing the math.
I would ballpark it somewhere around like 230 and like 300.
But and
230 and 300 years old.
I don't know too much about it, but I mean, people say like America, it's still a baby country. In
very
a
much,
sense, and it's just like
it just rose to power in a very unique circumstance.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh God. But I mean,
America.
And I think when people even where I think people fail to see it when it comes to politics is like the whole inflation thing and cost of goods and stuff like that. They blame it on the president, which of course, I mean, that's just what comes with presidency.
Yeah,
honestly.
but I feel
when you're the president, you get blamed for everything, bro. I mean, that's just the power.
Yeah, you're the figurehead, so that comes with the role. But I do think that is a kind of like not lower income, but like sort of the poverty mindset, I guess, mentality in a sense, like the lower, maybe not poverty because that's disrespectful. Maybe like the opposite of a growth mindset, a fixed mindset. Yeah, it's a very fixed mindset perspective.
Yeah, exactly. So it's just I like, and especially me reading like a lot of newsletters again because I don't know. I mean, I like to keep up with the world.
Bro, we hear.
But chocolate is getting more expensive because of certain the cocoa trees. They had a drought. They had a lot of storms, so chocolate is expected to get more expensive. Luxury brands, they haven't been selling as good as they've been hoping for. People have been buying less.
Because there's not much luxury to have these days.
Like there is a lot of statements being put out there like, oh, the economy is like holding stable and whatnot, but I don't think the average person is really feeling it. Yeah. But
I know, man. I definitely don't think the average person is feeling it, but I don't know. You've been definitely keeping up with a lot of the financial news. I get it here and there, but from my perspective right now, it's like commercial real estate is taking a hit, but real estate isn't taking a hit.
No.
And so it's like right now, because of choices made in the markets, like, I don't know, COVID and pre-COVID, we're seeing a lot more adjustments due to that. And I don't know if it's because I think they're saying it's stable because things are all so up in the air that it's like, oh, because it's up in the air, it's stable. But it's like,
that's all it is.
I feel like that's another way of wording, oh, we just don't know.
Yeah.
Because it's like, it's consistent right now. Mm-hmm. And that's what I feel like they mean by stable. But I'm like, stable could be a misnomer.
Yeah. I mean, and I think at the same time, it's like where people, it's a lot of outside variables that people aren't looking into. I mean, we're still even on those lower birth rates in like China, Japan, a good portion of the world. Even at the same time, it still seems we're still ever expanding. I think we hit 8 or 9 billion.
Yeah,
a couple of years ago. I forgot which was the new number. Yeah,
I think 8. I don't know if we hit. Let me.
Yeah, actually, it was 8.
Hold up. We have Google.
We have Google.
How many people in the world? Google.
Because I forgot what was the new number we hit. It was like 8. I think it was 8 billion.
Oh
shit. Hey, whoa. Hey.
No. Unreleased music that I shouldn't be playing. It's okay though. We own the rights, so that's fine.
We own the rights.
Goodness gracious. How trash would that have been? It's like play Katy Perry.
Shit, for real.
All right, hold up. How many? I don't know how Joe Rogan's dude does it, man. That dude has. Yeah, we hit 8. We broke 8. Yeah, dude does this stuff so quick. So, because that was 7.951 billion as of 2022. Yeah, people were born for sure in the past year. So, I wouldn't be surprised if we broke 8 billion.
But I don't know. It's just. And that's why I say, if you're going to try to make it in this world and get your money, be honest and honorable, because with this ever-expanding world, currency is how you're going to make it.
Your reputation for sure, like how you are. Like I feel like ethics and being mentally well, and you're being spiritually sound and ethical, like as a person, is gonna be more valued in the upcoming society. Because not to say that merit isn't always gonna there's always gonna be room for meritocracy. I feel, but like when it comes to where society's going, I feel it's gonna also be a matter of can you be a because that's dangerous. Because I don't want to say good person, because that's implies a lot, but can you be a person that could be around a lot of people? Can you tolerate people? Can you be someone that can assimilate? Which is a kind of scary language to say, because that sounds like some Nazi shit, low-key, if you really think about it. I've been trying to study history, and it's when you look at the origin of very what's this, fascist movements and communistic movements. There's if you translate the language, because they're doing this with AI, because obviously AI is super powerful now, right? Yeah. It's where they're translating Hitler and his speeches to English and what they would sound like, and it's you're able to have different contexts of these other world leaders and how dangerous their ideologies were, because it was built around propaganda.
Have you watched
I personally haven't, but I've been watching videos on it, and it's just it's kind of wild.
I actually didn't think about that. Now I want to check that out.
No, dude, just when you get the chance, just get lost in YouTube Shorts. Just take the chance, because it's kind of crazy, because once again, technology. This is all possible because technology. It's at the point where it's another digital. We're having. This is actually funny, because because of the manga I'm writing, the story I'm writing. Fun fact, it's manga. In my study of history, because I'm trying to do timelines and shit, I was realizing if you look at human history, you have whenever we had fire, right? Whenever we found fire and found ways to be hunter gatherers, specifically it's stone tools. There's before we even get to copper and all that shit, it's stone, right? So you have stone and fire, and then from stone and fire you got millions to tens of thousands of years before you get the first languages. Like there was like a monogenesis, and then languages spread. And this is like loose science. Certain people disagree with this, but generally speaking, this kind of like revolution. But like revolution and like innovation happened like thousands of years separate. And then you get to like the scientific method, like not too far after, like, you know, after, depending on what you see, like like AD or AE, ACE or AD, depending on how you want to look at it. But like after that point, you start seeing like, oh, we're having revolutions happen like every couple of hundred years, right? And then we're now towards like, we've had 3 different revolutions, like as far as like we had the steam engine, and then from the steam engine, which was like what, 1800s, I want to say, maybe 1700s, 17, yeah, the industrial revolution kind of there. And then from the industrial revolution, the most closest one was the digital revolution. Yeah. And then the digital revolution, yeah, so it's like, imagine telephones, and then from telephones to the internet. Fucking and then AOL, from the internet, I mean, we're going into AI, this whole other like data scape.
Microsoft and
then quantum computing is coming on the horizon, which that's a thing, which I don't know enough about, but it's just, you know what I mean? Like, it's just as human history has progressed.
I don't think I'll be able to find it, but Microsoft and OpenAI are teaming up to build like a fucking supercomputer or some shit.
I would not be surprised.
Bro, it's gonna cost a lot of. So, okay, how do you even feel about that too? So it's going to cost a lot of data points and electricity, of course.
Let me see. Let's see what the vibe is. Hold up. As I
bring it up.
Yeah, we're going to tell you what Microsoft and OpenAI.
To be honest, man, like I have a very hopeful sense of the world, and that we'll somehow pull through everything, but I'm also scared of how much, you know, energy we're consuming. That's one thing I could really say, because that's the thing with AI. Like it's consuming a lot of like electricity.
Man, I mean, we're definitely.
Like I think we're
with resources,
our resources.
We're definitely going to be. Yeah, that's such a valid point. And then we're going to be going into at such depth where it's like, okay, we're at the point now to where how do we efficiently like be more green, but I feel like it'll be too late because we tried to do that with the like freaking climate, and climate is such an interesting topic because you'll have the people be like, climate change isn't real, and it's like Al Gore was wrong, and it came out that like he was kind of wrong, but then it's like, nah, man, shit ain't the same, man. The oceans are changing, like shit's rising, like same, ice caps are melting. Like, come on, like can we at least understand that we have to be more renewably focused with our energy sources at the very least? But then it's like, oh, well, then we take money from here. In my opinion, I think it's because the dudes that benefit from older or primitive forms of energy are like the dudes who have like the trillions of dollars.
Oh yeah, I mean that's what it is.
To where it's like, hey, we want our money, we're keeping our money, you're not changing how we're getting our money, and whatever the case may be. That's my personal uneducated guess. But yeah, dude. Very, very.
Oh no, I wouldn't let you read it.
Yeah, no, it was like digital access because I have like which this is cool, by the way. I think this is a part of their partnership, low key, that Google like can do cool things like this.
Yeah, Microsoft and OpenAI have yeah, oh, it doesn't talk about that though. This supercomputer or whatever the fuck it was.
Needless to say, it happened somewhere. Let's see.
Needless to say, it happened.
Let's see. Yeah, no,
that's more than a month old. No, this was like in the last week or two.
Hold up.
You should put supercomputer.
Let's put super.
Oh yeah, look, see, forge $100 billion partnership to make a supercomputer.
There we go. All right.
Let's see, construct Stargate. It's gonna be named Stargate.
Of course, it's named Stargate.
For $100 billion, the ambition project underscored the escalating demand for advanced data centers capable of supporting cutting-edge AI applications, heralding a new era in AI development.
Okay.
Scheduled for launch in 2028, Stargate is poised to lead a series of supercomputers envisioned by Microsoft and AI over the next 6 years. Comprehensive strategy aimed at unlocking the full potential of AI. Spearheading development. a hefty Blackwell leading a NVIDIA grappled meeting the storing demand. Its latest chip. Oh yeah, I heard about this too.
What was this?
NVIDIA came out with a fucking new chip carrying a hefty price tag ranging from $30,000 to $40,000. It's apparently it's just a lot better than their fucking chips now. Ooh. Like it just goes beyond.
Dang, even like the Apple shit. Ooh,
yeah. I mean, it's wild out there, bro. There's a lot of tech companies competing. They're moving fast, and
saying their stocks been going crazy.
For real,
bro, they've been lit.
Oh shit! I mean, recently found out that Apple, Microsoft, and Amazon are trying to move into the healthcare space now. So if you're investing, people, hello,
biochemical,
yeah,
bro. That's so. That to me is gonna be very interesting. What are these guys gonna do that these other companies and corporations that couldn't do because they didn't invest in building like a big nest egg? Because you gotta think like they're just getting these are essentially groups of people that have amassed a lot of money through a really great product and service. So it's
wild,
it's
bro.
Wild to
Yo.
fathom.
If I knew about stocks and shit like that way back then, the funny thing is, bro, even in high school, I was a little interested in stocks, but I could never get the I just didn't get it.
It's not readily available in our up and coming. It's like you don't have a human being that can sit you down and be like, "Hey, I know this is how you learn. Do this shit, dog. All right." And that's what some people have. So it's like they get not an unfair, but they just get that advantage because they have access to the information and can learn it.
Yeah,
better. Because imagine if you're like, now I care, so I'm going to learn it. But if I was, I could have someone who could help me when I was younger and could just absorb this shit.
Yeah.
That's why I feel like the institutions don't teach financial education. Because if institutions taught financial education, a lot more people would be like able to secure.
They would know.
I feel like people would be able to not be taken advantage of because they would find ways to monetize. But then there's no group that's being taken advantage of.
Yes.
And I feel like capitalism is built on there has to be somebody who's being over leveraged.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was really going to say. I mean, unfortunately, guys, in America, there has to be a middle class. There has to be someone below you.
It's just weird. Point. Yeah. It's hard to say, but it's kind of just is what it is in that sense.
I mean,
but this, to the AI point, though, like with all that, I'm just like, this will give a lot of those people in those positions the ability to change and get out of their positions. So it's like, it's weird. It's like, as long as you are willing to put in the work and just invest in yourself and stuff like that, I feel like that's where you want to be. That's like, okay, you're doing the right thing. You're on the right path. Like you're growing with the times, because that's tricky. That's a tricky situation.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you definitely just got to grow with the times and know what you're doing. You got to be able to stand out.
For real, man. That's crazy, though, man. OpenAI and Microsoft. That's a big merger, too, in general.
Bro, it's huge, man.
Okay. You're going to indulge me real quick. We're gonna watch a piece of content here. We're just going to react to it. Because this upcoming weekend,
Is it?
Yep, this upcoming weekend is WrestleMania. At the moment this podcast is coming out, it will be post WrestleMania. And I'm just going to say this right now. I'm putting up my predictions for all the people watching this. I think this is Natty's early prediction.
I want to watch it.
Oh yeah, we're going to try and turn up probably Sunday for sure. But Saturday we're trying to have it here.
Oh, okay.
So we're going to see.
Okay.
But Sunday I believe is the plan to have it over there. We'll find out if that's happening or not. But
all right.
But man, I'm telling you right now, my dog. Regardless, we're watching WrestleMania, is what I'm saying. I believe Cody Rhodes is walking away a champion.
He is, bro. It's due.
I feel like he's walking away a champion. Now, here's the thing. I've heard through the grapevine that may not be the case, because what The Rock's got cooking with Roman Reigns is going to be keep the bloodline around. That's why I'm around, right?
Oh, my God.
But I want to root for Cody, man. Like, Cody just put a fire in my heart.
Bro, he has to win.
In the Royal Rumble. Like, the Royal Rumble just lit a fire in my heart, man. I just saw that, man. And I was like, Cody, you just... Okay, all right. I'm just gonna watch this right here, this little bit, because this just came out.
Yeah, I was seeing that. I was like, oh shit, they went on.
So we're just gonna catch a vibe, but just so people know,
what the fuck is Rock wearing, bro?
I'm on Team Cody Rhodes.
Or wearing the aluminum
customer journey map
fucking shirt.
So I'm on Team Cody Rhodes, people, and this is an interview that happened last night with The Rock and Roman Reigns to promote WrestleMania. And just because I don't want to go into a full tirade because me and Basik are both not so equipped with all the plot lines that we can talk about it, but I wanted to fangirl and just to show y'all how hype this upcoming WrestleMania is with this little piece of content right here. Super quick.
Welcome back. Please, we have a lot to discuss. You brought the belt. Come on. The belt, look at this right here. That's what I'm talking about. He loves it. Oh my gosh, it's so heavy.
We were backstage literally 15 seconds ago, and I was like, look at this. He's carrying his belt. He looks like $1 million. I got a bottle of tequila in my hand right back there, and that was it.
He's back there swinging it. Yeah. Come on, why not? Dwayne, are you celebrating? Because you just launched a giant new football franchise.
We did. We launched it. Thank you so much.
I mean, it's a big hit.
Thank you.
UFL.
We finally launched the UFL, the United Football League, combination of the XFL and USFL, and it was we had an amazing weekend. Thank you so much for your support. And I always like to say the best thing, and we're former football players too as well. I always say the best thing about this league, about the UFL, is just creating opportunities for players to live.
Did you know about Ice Cube's basketball league?
No, Ice Cube.
He has a basketball league called Big Three.
I read somewhere.
You know what? I do, because that was what they're referencing. That's what Cole was referencing in the record.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, no. So I heard about it, but I didn't know that was him.
Yeah.
I just heard like Big Three, and that was like a thing.
Shit, man.
Larry David.
Oh, that's crazy.
So Ari Emanuel is my agent, long time.
That's cool.
I'm here for that though. By the way, like having like superstars like make these initiatives to like make society better.
Yeah.
Please use your money for shit like that.
Yeah.
We love that.
Larry, if you guys don't,
It provides a place for the kids too, if you think about it.
For real though.
Kicker adverse. He hates this idea that they'll play a game and the players will leave it all out on the field, and at the end of the game, it can at times come down to the kicker.
Yeah.
He hates.
Now I love how they're just like not addressing, like they know why they're here.
Yeah, honestly, bro.
But they're selling it. They're selling it.
I said, I am, yes. And he goes, well,
Could you do that
can we do
though? I
about
don't.
the kickers?
It's like
Can
if
we
you
get
got
the
to like a
kickers?
point like that where you
So
could
we
be
had this
invited to the Jim
conversation,
Fallon show,
and
would you do it?
We need the kickers, by the way.
Yeah.
Kickers are
Yeah.
amazing.
I think I would purely for the exposure. I don't know.
We did tweak some of the
I feel if I'm already there, I'm giving something of value that they would want me on the platform.
Yeah.
But at the same point,
rulings too as well.
Oh, really? Yeah, you need the
I would still be.
football.
I would know the value of being on there in the sense of who I'd be in front of.
Yeah.
Like the people that wouldn't care otherwise about me,
It was the greatest
they would
football
see me
game.
from there.
Yeah.
And I feel like that's why I'd want to do it. Because I feel like that's why they're even doing it.
Yeah, of course.
Because it's like, bro, this is like WrestleMania is one of the things where it's like, in the past, 48 hours, there have been like 10, 15 interviews or some shit like that with just these guys, like just between all three of them. Like the people that are just a part of the event. 4 of them, rather.
It could have been anywhere. We could have done it in a parking lot. We could have used cars parking lot. It could have been a fairground. Yeah.
How many people in the crowd?
The lightest show I've ever done was 2 people. Yeah.
Oh shit!
Yeah, just 2, yeah. But it got so bad that I was asking for requests. Like, what do you want to see? You want a body slam?
Yeah, I can give you that. I'll give you whatever you want. Yeah.
So it's been bad, but we're in a really, really good place right now.
I mean, you
That's kind of cool. I didn't know he was able to come up like that. Imagine wrestling for only 2 people. That'd be awkward as shit. That's like. Sounds like a porno. Yeah, that's a porno. That's actually a porno. Wrestling in front of 2 people.
Tribal Chief, our Universal Champion, and myself.
Okay, now we're
there
getting
in Brooklyn, and in Brooklyn we broke a record. It was the highest grossing Raw in U.S. history, which says a lot. Yeah, really incredible.
That's amazing.
It was really.
Oh my
special.
gosh,
You know, and
that's a dick.
Now that
Like, yeah, you know what, you're right.
The grind
Really
of
incredible.
it all, as he has been for years now, carrying the company. Things like that, you try to stay as present as possible because it moves, and the very next night you're someplace else in a different city. But we had to take a moment last Monday just to recognize just wow, and how cool it is that we're in this position. I mean, look, as Roman was saying, we both came from wrestling in flea markets and used car dealerships and making $40 a match to making a little bit more than that. And, you know, this guy's a champion, and times are good.
It's a very much a family business for both of you guys. You both have deep-rooted ties into wrestling. Span over 3 generations. In fact,
that's
found this.
No, it's the blood.
Really
the bloodline in and of itself is a beautiful thing.
Yeah.
His dad, Rocky,
Like dog.
wrestling against Roman's dad, Sika, to become the
Look at
WWE
that.
Tag Team Champ.
That's amazing. So for you guys that don't know, Roman and I are family. We're cousins. Our dads wrestled against each other in the 80s. And as a matter of fact, his dad and our uncle Afa and Sika, they were the first Samoan tag team champions of the WWE. And then my dad and Tony Atlas became the first black tag team champions of WWE, beating his dad and my uncle. So it goes way back.
It's really deep.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
It's pretty crazy.
Yeah, that is wild, bro.
Now here's the thing. It's like
You, Roman, with
I
your
love how
dad
they're leading
and
into it
Hulk
so much
Hogan.
so,
Look
but
at
it's
this
like
kid right here.
Cody and like Seth. They're like, hey, what about us? And so it's like, because this is beautiful. The
Yeah.
people love this. They're like, they're milking the people. They like love us.
Yeah.
We're great men. We're not
We
evil.
come from generations.
We are
have family.
honoring.
What is it, Ohana?
Yes. So I'll stop it there. But as you can see, this is this weekend, man. I'm looking for it this week because here's the thing with wrestling. When I first came to America, I want to say like, I don't know, 4 years into being in America, 5 years, somewhere around there. Somewhere in that like range. Because I came to America like 1999, 2000. I was up late enough that because I had satellite TV, I didn't have like cable at the time. So like, if you're up late enough on one of the channels, you either get Girls Gone Wild or you would get wrestling on because it was like Friday. It would be Friday night, and then afterwards it'd be Girls Gone Wild. So I'd be like, oh, one of those nights I came across wrestling. That's how it happened.
Yeah.
So I was like, oh, if I wait long enough, it'll be this because I was a bad kid or whatever. And then I saw wrestling. I saw this dude drop kick another guy, and I was like, I don't know what this is.
Yeah.
But I fuck with it. And so like I kept up with it, like whenever it would randomly come up, and I found out there was Monday nights and there's Friday nights, and then there was like they started like doing other stuff after that. But I remember just like, okay, Friday night, I'm gonna see what happens. And that was kind of like my introduction to wrestling. And then I kind of got lost in it, didn't really care about it. And then ever since I met CJ, and then I was like, oh, I'll get back into it. And then I'm like, it's changed so much since I last seen it, but I wasn't in it as deep as I am now. But now that I am, I'm like the art form of wrestling. It's something I personally enjoy. Like I'm like, no, this is my shit.
Yeah.
I enjoy this activity. I love speculating in the art form of the storytelling. Like, like this shit. Like it's gotten to a point now where they can get on like a big TV series and be like, yeah, we're gonna talk some shit. We're gonna be in our characters and we're gonna sell this, and it's cool. And I'm here for that. That's my thing. So yeah, that's my fangirl for WrestleMania. Just had to let the fans know that that's what I'm gonna be doing this weekend. I think Cody's gonna win. I think Jey Uso might actually win as well. That's my bet. Okay. But and Miss Cargill, I want her to win, but I don't know what's gonna happen with the girls. We'll see. Okay. But that's it. Yeah, that's like those are my bets. Like no, I'm not trying to do no like plotting or anything. Just those are my hopes. Those are my wishes.
Yeah. Okay. I'll have to. What time is it at?
I mean, no, we're past like we're well past an hour. I mean, we can.
Oh no, I meant WrestleMania.
Oh,
what time is it at?
Dude, it's starting at like 6, bro. Like it's starting on 6 on Saturday. Well, the pre-show I believe is happening beforehand. No, I think the pre-show's at 6 and then the event's at 7. All right. I have to double check, but I believe it's at 6. And then Sunday same time.
Okay.
So.
Oh yeah, it's a 2-day thing.
Yep, it's a back-to-back Saturday and Sunday. Well, it's really, if we're being honest, it's a 4-day thing because we have SmackDown on Friday. Oh, and then we have Saturday, the first night of WrestleMania. And then Sunday we have second night of WrestleMania, which is the main event. And then Monday we have Monday Night Raw. So hopefully it's not as, because last Monday Night Raw after WrestleMania was a little wildin', and they're always wildin'. Yeah. Like that's not surprising. But last one was like a lot of legal shit happened with like TKO, I want to say, and like all the there was a bunch of acquisitions and shit with Vince McMahon.
Oh.
So this one, I'm curious to see like what happens on the Raw, like Monday night. That's what I'm excited for. But once again, it's gonna be fun. It's gonna be great. It's gonna be entertaining. I just know I'll be entertained.
Yes.
I just know I will be entertained. That's what makes me excited.
Oh, yeah.
So it's this weekend. We're gonna turn up. Catch me in the comment sections of a lot of places. I will be
Put
there.
it in chat.
Put it in chat for real. But that was my little WrestleMania rant. Just want to let the people know.
Well, shit, man. We close it up here.
Sheesh. Let's see. Is there anything we want to let the people know? Hold on. Let's see. I'm trying to think if there's anything coming up. Ooh. No. Oh. I just single I just worked on recently with an artist, Alex Loiza.
Oh yeah.
Guayaba just dropped.
That's a good song.
Run It Up. It's fun. It's great. It's sweet like guayaba.
Yes.
Oh, I feel so bad saying that, but no, seriously, it's an amazing song.
He's like, damn it.
Yeah,
that's a really great song. Yeah, no, I love it.
It's gonna be a fun one that you're gonna want to just play throughout the whole entire year. So yeah, that's all I gotta let the people know. I mean, I make music. I'm here. I'm here.
Other than that, thank y'all for watching.
Yeah, baby.
We out. Good night.